Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a new TW9 video. You join us here for a little bit different. We've got Rampage, we've got Collision, and we've got Battle of the Belts 7, I think that is. I think that's probably been in real life, I don't actually know, I'm not going to lie. Don't really tune in for Battle of the Belts, nothing usually happens, but something will happen with us. I guarantee that to be the case. So Collision builds a lot for Battle of the Belts and a good little bit for World's End as well, because it's only 10 days to the end of the year, and it's only a week away from World's End. So yeah, we'll quickly cut through Rampage. Rampage saw a little promo from Big Bill, Chris Jericho and Brian Keith, which was a 56. Haven't really utilised Jericho, probably should, to at least utilise his overness in his promos. Kyle O'Reilly then proceeded to defeat Brian Keith in a 58 rated match. Willow Nightingale defeated Harley Cameron in a 55. Then had Lance Archer destroy Luther in a 30 and then beat him down after it again for a 46. The Machine Brian Cage defeated Colt Cabana in a 41 rated match. And then we had some words from Megan Bayne, Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie, which was a 38. We then had a Steal the Show matchup for the Sickos, I guess. And we saw Buddy Matthews defeat Action Andretti. If I'm not pulling ribs on Action Andretti, he's taking the loss. Joys of having A in your name, and one of the first people I can put others over. So that was Rampage, pretty standard stuff for our B show. It's now time to move on to Collision and start building to our two events. Let's do it. So we're in the Bridgestone Arena. I can't even remember what part of America that's in, but we're due to get about 19,000 because it is a special event later tonight. So we start off the show with Nigel McGuinness and Tony Schiavone giving us an update on the status of El Hijo del Vikingo. Sadly, it is an injury that will keep him out to the middle of January, so it's not long, but he's still going to miss the event. He can only appear in angles. So I'm going to try and work it to do a 2-on-3 match for the Trios Championships if it'll let me. If not, we have a replacement match just in case. If not, there'll be 4 matches on Battle of the Belts. So that was a 52 for that one from Tony and Nigel, the commentary team. We then had a technical masterclass match that saw the AEW World Champion in a good wrestling match and a decent reaction from the crowd as Claudio Castagnoli defeats Kyle O'Reilly in 13:52 with a very European uppercut. A 59 for Kyle O'Reilly, a 73 for Claudio, so that gives me a bit of belief going into his match with Darby Allin that it could be good. And the 66 for the wrestling, 54 for the crowd, and a 71 for the overall segment. The champ then just cut some words, basically just saying, look at what I've done to Kyle O'Reilly here. Kyle O'Reilly's far bigger than Darby Allin. It's just going to be a waste of time when I just throw him about the place effectively. 56. It's not been a great reign so far. Next up, we had some action in the women's division. It was a tag match. Obviously, Io Shirai's had her issues with the Virtuous Vanguard, and she's teamed up with the number 1 contender for the AEW Women's World Championship, the timeless one, Toni Storm, and they, in a decent match, defeated them in 11:57 when Io Shirai pinned Taya Valkyrie with the German suplex hold. Sadly, Taya the weak link here with a 48. The rest of the women, great performance, it must be said, by Io Shirai with a 74. 63 wrestling, 46 to the crowd, and a 67 segment. Pretty solid stuff. Division, our women's division is fairly coming on. So this one, it's quite interesting how this has came about, but it gave me an idea. Basically, because the International Championship is an alliance title, CMLL thought it was funny to have Magnus defeat Will Ospreay on one of their shows to win the belt. So in this instance, we're going to borrow that title, hopefully. We're going to borrow Magnus. We're going to do the match on Battle for the Belts. And Will Ospreay has blamed that defeat on Bobby Lashley's interference. So he says, yeah, good one, Mike, get involved in our business over in Mexico. But I have challenged Magnus to a rematch. And you make sure you're nowhere near us, or I'll make sure you have to pay, basically. That's Will Ospreay's way. That's how we're going to work the title match onto Battle of the Belts. So quite lucky that happened, but thankfully it's going to hamper the lineage of the International Championship, but I don't want Ospreay losing it just yet. 59 for that. Elite Height package for the House of Blacks, Brody King and Malachi Black, of course the tag team champions, the kings of the Black Throne. Just a really intimidating thing before they go to face, of course, the Grizzled Young Veterans on Battle of the Belts. So that was a 48. Next up with a decent match, the Scapegoat. Jack Perry defeats the Natural Dustin Rhodes in 9:24 with using the ropes for leverage. So it gives Jack a wee victory. He's had a few losses recently. And overall, a 63 segment. Pretty good stuff there from both of them. And after the match-up, we have Jack Perry just basically taunting Christopher Daniels, saying he's going to win that New Japan Strong Television Championship at Battle of the Belts. So, double duty for Jack, and a 47 promo. We then had Marco Stunt appear in a one-off performance, basically to get his ass handed to him, although it did have a decent 50 segment, the 50 performance, sorry. It just basically let Brian Cage throw him a bit. And a 37 segment. Cage also got a similar in-ring performance. It was storytelling as well. The funny thing is, I told them before we signed them if Marco Stunt wanted to take steroids, and he said aye. So, good luck, man. I have nothing else to add to that. Next up, our Wild Brawl match went to the women's division action between Chris Statlander and Queen Aminata. And Stat continues her winning streak as she gets ready to do battle with Athena at World's End, and she wins in 12:28 with a Big Bang Theory. 52 wrestling, 37 for the crowd, and a 54 segment. I feel we're starting to get a bit of progress in our women's division, and they're really starting to take it up a notch. It's a very good division. I can also confirm that after the expiry of her contract in NXT, Tatum Paxley has signed with Ring of Honor. Just thought I'd drop that. So this one was tricky to do. Basically, the idea was a contract signing between Starlight Kid and Mercedes Mone, with Renee hosting it and Camille as the bodyguard. So the way I've done the angle, I gave Starlight Kid is in the background, I believe. I don't know if it'll show you. No, it doesn't really tell you because I've typed in stuff, but I put it in the background so all she had to do was sign. So I was hoping she wouldn't get the language barrier issue, but clearly she has. Mercedes was going to cut a promo, Renee was going to be the host of the segment, and Camille bodyguard, because you can select that as an option. But that was a thing, just to do the title, the situation, and maybe Camille can like try and beat up Starlight Kid. But obviously that match will happen at Battle of the Belts for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. That was only a 45, sadly. Next up, to end the storyline, we had Hologram defeat Rush in a decent match in 11:41 with a 450 splash. The match was designed so the wrestlers went out and stole the show. I wasn't sure if it would work with a high flyer v. Rush is more kind of brawling style, but it finishes the storyline. It wasn't great. They just, because Hologram doesn't talk, it kind of hampers it a wee bit, but it lets LFI go on their own way, and overall it was a 62 segment. The storyline did advance, gained heat, but is ended, so maybe Hologram will get a nice wee boost of popularity from that. And after the match-up, as he heads backstage, we see the sinister Jake Roberts bump into Rush. Is he offering him his managerial services? I would say the outcome of that is highly likely, but we'll see where we go with that one. And it was a 57. And our main event, I think we're definitely losing pop here because this did not go as well as I would have liked. With a good matchup here is Hangman Adam Page defeats Bobby Lashley in 13:31 when Bobby Lashley was disqualified when Mick Foley ran in and attacked Adam Page. Of course, you can't interfere in the Continental Classic. So it was a red group match. The final match, Lashley was already through as the winner, and he finishes it as the man. So a 67 for the wrestling, 56 crowd, 64. The one final match storyline has advanced and gained heat. Hangman brought a 75, Bobby Lashley with a 59. I was hoping this would have got us a lot better, but not. So they basically have a massive brawl to end the show between Mick Foley and Adam Page. So much that Adam Page takes a stunt bump. So we're going to try and make him take proper bumps in this matchup when it takes place. Mick's getting better his gimmick, but the segment was only a 57, so we're definitely losing pop here. Yep, we increased our pop in 3 regions, which will be Oceania, I believe, but we lost it in 15. Only a 62, but see, to be fair, as bad as it was from a ratings perspective, like clearly we should have put Claudio Kyle as the main event, but I wanted to finish up the Classic and have the beatdown to end the show. So it's fair enough, I'll take some of those losses if it makes sense from a storyline perspective, but we've built up a lot for Battle of the Belts, which you'll see in literally 2 seconds time, and I think we built up a good little bit for the next event, World's End. So I'll hit finish show, and it's straight to finalising our broadcasters. We'll do it just in case we get any locker room incidents. So for this one, we will be on Cablevision, and we will be on... Oh wait, automatic selection gave us Cablevision, Eurosport, and the AEW network. That's fine, that's exactly what I wanted for this show. So, yes. Incidents? None. Don't need to address the locker room. And I'll see you very, very soon for some Battle of the Belts 7. So straight into Battle of the Belts we go, and I'm not going to lie, it's became an absolute mess, so let's hope this is worked out how we wanted it to, because we had to do a lot of changed booking on the fly. So Bridgestone Arena, 19,891 in attendance. As much as I wanted to do Will Ospreay versus Magnus, CMLL had a show, so I couldn't get Magnus. We could borrow the title, but I don't know how it would mess with the lineage. So we just had Ospreay come out and go, is this a joke, Lashley? What have you done to prevent Magnus from getting out of the country? Well, rest assured, I'm going to get my revenge on you, I'm going to get my revenge on the Hurt Syndicate, and I'm going to get Magnus again and win that International Championship back. So the first chance I've got, we will do Will Ospreay Magnus for the International Championship, but here, it's a 60 rated segment, the storyline advances, best of a bad situation. We then had the match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. It was a decent wild brawl. The Kings of the Black Throne defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans in 11:48 when Brody King pinned James Drake with the Dante's Inferno, and this gave the Kings of the Black Throne their 4th defence of the AEW World Tag Titles. So overall, very similar in terms of performances. The only thing it lacked was probably James Drake, but a 62, a solid opening wrestling match to Battle of the Belts. And then as they were making their way to the back, they bump into FTR, and both teams have a bit of a brawl before they're separated, as Dax and Cash have a match up next. And that was a 57. And this matchup was for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. And it was a decent matchup that saw FTR defeat TMDK in 9:47 when Cash Wheeler took the pinfall over Shane Haste after a full Nelson slam. Due to the matches on the show, we had to make this a storytelling match. I know Haste doesn't usually have good in-ring because of injuries, so I felt like it was your opportunity to basically allow Dax and Cash to do some New Japan dates, and if somebody's going to steal their title, then we'll steal a title from another one in the Alliance. So good win for FTR, 58, I can add to their resume. Next up, we had a wild brawl that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but terrible wrestling, as Jack Perry defeated Christopher Daniels in 8:26 with a Canadian Destroyer. Jack Perry wins the New Japan World Television title. Was always going to happen. Sadly, not great from either as a brawl, but I thought like they'd hate each other. Maybe that would help, but not to be. I think if you made this steal the show, you'd probably get this to a mid-50, maybe higher. But average performances maybe obviously didn't suit their styles. Yeah, Jack Perry can do some stuff in Japan, so happy with that. So this one was interesting, and I'm going to have to explain this as we go along. So I made it 2v3, however it did not allow me to make the title change, because it wasn't a 3-on-3 trios match. So enjoy this explanation. And about that we had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch and Nick Wayne defeated the Lucha Bros in a handicap match in 7:42 when Christian Cage pinned Rey Fenix after using a foreign object. So the match was fine. I made it short to play up to the 3v2 and because it only had 75 minutes our show, 15-minute overrun. 66 for the wrestling, 46 for the crowd and a 70 for the segment. All performances were pretty handy apart from Killswitch's 47, but again, Christian will have overness, Nick Wayne will be able to adapt to Lucha Bros style. The segment after though, we saw a character development segment, but I just thought, you know what, we'll do the 3 of them. Shayna Wayne's delighted, and they've been given the championships this way. So that is how we put the titles on them. So new Trios champions, 3 title changes on Battle of the Belts, whoever would have thought it. And Christian Cage, Killswitch and Nick Wayne will hold those titles afloat one more time. And that was a 52 segment. From right saying that's our second time as champs. Which means there's only one main event, the first ever in the Save women's main event, I believe. And it's flopped massively. Yikes, I thought these two would have been fantastic together, and it's bombed. Gutted. Everett had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Mercedes Mone defeated Starlight Kid in 11:57 with a bank statement submission victory. We made them go out to steal the show. Mercedes made the second defence of the NJPW Strong women's title. But a 47, a 41, a 50, a 45 and a 49, and they just didn't click. Which sadly, as I say, probably took that down for maybe even a 60. So, okay, interesting. We'll lose pop in 10 regions, which is obviously the 10 would be on Cablevision. The fans were disappointed, the storylines, obviously it was more the promos kind of stuff. But yeah, nothing about the other countries like that were on the AEW network, so that's interesting. Financial report. Well, I mean, we made good money, 1.9 million, so that certainly was the right idea to do that. And the popularity, oh, it's bad. So you can see there, major hit in America. Yeah. Well, to be fair, a 50 rated show would probably lose you a little pop in the UK, but you'd actually gain pop elsewhere, so maybe we just need a far stronger show. But hey, I gave them the opportunity, I wanted to try something different, and in this instance it absolutely flopped, so that's fine. It's one of those things, we just need to make sure if it's another Battle of the Belts or if it is another show. As I say, there's Fighter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, etc. Plenty of options, we can make stuff up and we can see what happens. Because I've still got 11 shows to run on that particular deal, and I don't want them all to be Battle of the Belts. So if we look here, we've signed Siru. She's on basically a written contract. I just felt like with her attributes, if I just go to her profile, I had to take her. So as per the norm, we'll let her go to Ring of Honor first. Everybody's happy, and she's clean, so that's fine. So we'll put her in ROH for a bit and let her wrestle elsewhere. Luther's left, so bye bye. Lance Archer sent him to the Oblivion. Collision, some found it underwhelming. Am I blunt? Where is Battle of the Belts? Decent, although hardly spectacular. I do feel it was pretty poor, but like I like what I'm doing, but I just feel like it didn't go well. So Starlight's gone, Luther's gone. There's your viewing figures. There's the buy rate. Obviously, Eurosport are unhappy, Cablevision are unhappy. The lack of big names, obviously, because a lot of people were missing for it. Obviously, I went as my main name is Mercedes. Maybe if I put like someone in a world title match, it would have been better, but it's fine. It's cool. You try something, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And unfortunately, in this instance, it hasn't. So, we will now go into the go home show week. We'll have a Dynamite, we'll have our Collision, and then the video after that will be World's End. And also, just to confirm, World's End then, we'll see Bobby Lashley as group winner, take on Samoa Joe as group runner-up, and Kazuchika Okada as group winner, take on Wheeler Yuta as runner-up. So those matches will take place on Dynamite, and the final will take place at World's End. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Wee thumbs up would be deeply appreciated. Let us know, as I say, if you've got any ideas for what we can do. These are a lot of shows we can use, so plenty of stuff that we can use for the events. But if you've got any ideas, let me know. And as always, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grizzled Software Forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. Until then, take it easy. See you for the next one. Bye bye.